Today, I want to share with you that there are many free ways that you can market your business so that you don't actually have to do paid marketing and still achieve results. So, I want to rest assured that you can actually do this without having to spend any money except your time. That's the only thing that you're going to have to invest. So, one of the things I want to share with you is the traditional method called canvassing. That's suitable for a lot of home improvement businesses, but it's really involving anything that you need to contact a business, such as a business owner. So for us, being in the business loan space, you could just take your afternoon and go to your local main street and literally go door to door. That's what canvassing is, and introduce yourself to the local businesses. Tell them that you're a business owner yourself and that you have a product that you can work with them on called business loans, and say, if you ever need any type of business funding, here I am. Maybe drop a business card, but I would definitely recommend that you take their business card and then take that. Usually it has an email address, and then maybe later on that day or the next day, drop them an email. So they'll have your contact information. You say, it was nice meeting you, Joe. I'll stop in next time and have a bagel next time. So you just want to build that rapport and then maybe put them into some type of trickle campaign, an email campaign, and send them an e-blast maybe once a month, once a week, whatever you want to do. So you could cultivate that lead. So canvassing is a traditional method that involves you actually going out to the business and contacting the business owner. Another way is you could contact your local Chamber of Commerce. All the Chamber of Commerces have these events that are open to new businesses. So you could contact them. Obviously, they want you to join, but you can go usually to a first meeting or some type of event, and you could just let them know that you're checking it out. And when you're there, you get to talk to all the other business owners that are there, who are members. And again, do the same thing. Grab their business card and just kind of talk to them and see what their business involves. And the goal of it is just basically get yourself out there. A lot of times they also have these things called business groups, organized business events such as a LaTip or a BNI. They have all these groups that meet at diners or Panera Bread or some type of local meeting place. Look them up online, check out your local one. And then typically they allow you to attend at least one meeting, maybe two meetings at no cost. Again, just let them know you're checking it out. You're a business owner. You want to come meet other business owners. So you want to do that, and you want to be able to get in front of these other business owners. Another way that you can market your business, again for free, is on Craigslist. You can make a posting on Craigslist, maybe business financing, contact me. And then you have your website, your phone number, and so forth, and you can use Craigslist for that as well. Another way is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like the Facebook for professional businesses and for business owners. So if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you really should make one. So I'm going to talk today specifically how to use LinkedIn to build your business for free, and it's only going to take your time. So the first thing is LinkedIn is something that you would have to join if you haven't already, create your profile. And what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to give myself a challenge. It's going to be a five-day LinkedIn business challenge. And what my goal is going to be is to contact or connect with 20 businesses or business owners a day for 5 days. So at the end of the week, or at the end of 5 business days, I will have, hopefully, if everyone connects with me, at least 100 leads or 100 business owners, which are leads. That's what we're targeting. So that's the goal. I encourage you to follow along with me, but also to maybe do it yourself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into a few details as to what you need in order to get started and what you need to do this, just so you're prepared, just like I will be, and then I'll start tomorrow. So the first thing is, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, get on LinkedIn. If you do have a LinkedIn profile, you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to snuff. So you want to make sure you have a current headshot. Don't use something from 20 years ago so that you look better, but you're not who you are today. You want to update it with your business name. And then you want to also make sure that you include in your summary what it is that you do. And here you want to make sure that you use industry buzzwords. You want to make sure that you're tailoring it to what you do. So for example, you might use the acronym MCA. MCA obviously for Merchant Cash Advance. You want to also make sure you have something included, something called maybe alternative financing or alternative funding or expert in alternative funding, something like that, where you want to include it in this category, because if they're doing a search or if they read your profile, you want to make sure that it has everything there that is relevant to the work experience and to your business experience that you have. That's pretty much it about the summary. You want to make it engaging and interesting, but short, concise, to the point, so that people want to be able to understand what it is that you do. Again, it's not just making this long project out of your profile. It's just to give the necessary information so that they know you're the authority in the space, and when they reach out to you, you'll talk to them about it. Okay, so next, how will you get these qualified business leads of these business owners? Now, LinkedIn has a search feature. It acts very much like Google. You basically type in whatever it is that you're looking for. So for this challenge, you're going to target business owners. And in the LinkedIn interface, it's found in the upper left corner. It's a search bar. You would just type in business owner, and they'll give you different options like business owner jobs, business owner in title, business owner. So what you're going to do is you're going to look up first, start out with business owner in title. And what that means is it's just going to pop up all these business owners who have the business name, the business owner as their title. So that's perfect, because these are going to be sole proprietors, these are going to be partnerships and so forth, and those are going to be perfect for you to connect with. So then what we're going to talk about is how do you build your database or your profile, and you're going to do that by connecting with people and building your professional connections to grow your network. That's what you're going to do. So when you do that, let's say you have Joe Smith, and you're going to click on Joe Smith, and he's a plumber. So what happens is you're going to click on Joe Smith. Now, some of these profiles are protected where you have to know them personally. You have to have done business with them previously. There's a lot of ways that they might protect it. You might have to know their email. But I will tell you that there are many others that are open, meaning you don't need to have done work with them before. You don't need to know their email. You don't need to know them personally. So the ones that you come across that are blocked for whatever reason, just move on to the next one. There are thousands of these people out there, maybe hundreds of thousands. So just move on to the next one. And what happens is you're going to have an option of either just connect to send now, or you could send a note. I would advise you to send a little personalized note. I basically draft a little note and I save it as on my notepad on my desktop, and then I copy and paste it into the email. So you could draft a little note, maybe personalize it per person that you're connecting with. Maybe for this case, in our example, hi Joe, and then paste what you have. So maybe it goes something like, you type in hi Joe, you cut and paste what you have, and maybe what you have says something to the effect, I want to add you to my professional network. I own a business loan company. If you ever need a business loan, contact me. But I'd love to connect with you anyway. And something like that. Something short, simple, and sweet. The goal is just to get them to connect with you. So that's pretty much what you do. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grow your network by connecting with business owners. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to have to increase your relevancy. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to show that you're active on LinkedIn. The people on LinkedIn want to work with people who are active on LinkedIn. So what happens is, just like Facebook, there are ways that you can do this. And for example, another way is by posting information. So you can either post information on your own about how you can help business owners succeed. You can write an article on alternative financing and how important it is for a business owner to get financing because banks aren't lending money. You could go search online for articles about alternative financing and post that into your LinkedIn. So those are kind of things that you want to do to post information, and that's going to help you increase your relevancy. It's going to increase your profile, and those are the kind of things that you want to do. Another way that you could do that is to like other people's postings. So they have a news feed just like Facebook, if you're not too familiar with it. But then what happens is other professionals are posting information. Some of them are in your network, some of them are not in your network. Excuse me. But what happens is they might write an article, or they might post some information about something that's relevant to business. Almost whatever it is, just like it, because then what happens is they're going to start to see that you're liking their articles, and maybe they'll start to like whatever you're posting as well. The other way that you can go about is to request endorsements. They have this thing, endorsements, on LinkedIn. So what happens is you can reach out to somebody and endorse them. Maybe it's a friend of yours that you worked with years ago, and you can say, you know what, John was a good marketer, or John was a good salesperson, and you want to give him an endorsement. And when you send that endorsement to him, you can ask him to reciprocate. Say, hey, John, I just gave you a great endorsement. How about you give me an endorsement? Now, the endorsement doesn't have to be about your current position. It's just something, it's more of like a testament of your character. So you want to have it so that these people have worked with you in the past, or they like you and they say, oh, you know, Joe's a good guy, or James is a great guy, you know, very hardworking. I trust him. You know, sometimes some of these people might say, just write it for yourself, send it to me, and I'll post it on your account. Whatever works, but the goal is to get them to endorse you. So again, that's going to help increase your profile relevancy. All these tips are going to help you succeed in the LinkedIn arena. But remember what the challenge is. The challenge is to connect with 20 business owners a day for 5 days. So the end of this challenge, you should, if all connect, and I don't think everybody's going to connect, but let's say they all do. You'll have 100 connections of business owners. So you're going to hit them up, and you're going to contact them and talk to them. So what's going to happen is that my goal, connect with at least 100 by the end of 5 days. And this is going to be ongoing in terms of each day, 20 a day. Hopefully they'll all connect. Obviously they'll all connect at different times, but I'm going to be following up with each of them each time they connect. And my goal is, after the 100 connections I have, or 100 leads, which again costs nothing except my time, is I'm hoping to hopefully get a deal out of this. Maybe one, I'll be ecstatic. It's free, so it's just my time. It's a free deal, and whatever I can make on the deal. So I'm hoping you guys join me in this challenge, or at least follow along. I'll be posting daily videos of my progress and keep you posted as to what's going on. But I really feel that this could be a great opportunity for you to do some free marketing. If you remember, the first couple of things I stated also are free ways to market your business, but LinkedIn is typically a better lead because this is the marketplace for business owners already, and you're going to also be there as a business owner. So I'm just hoping that this can work for you, and we're going to do it together. I'm going to be doing it for the next 5 days, and hopefully we'll both have success, or we'll all have success. And stay with me, and let's see, and I wish you great success. Hi, James here. I'm here on day 1 of my LinkedIn challenge. For those of you who may have not seen my first video, just want to share with you exactly what it is that I'm doing. And essentially, it's to show you that there are multiple ways of achieving free marketing for your business in this space. So I put forth the challenge to myself, and I asked if anybody wanted to follow along or do it on their own as well. Some of you did take me up on that, so I'm hoping you're having the success that I'm having. But essentially the goal is to achieve contacts in the business environment, business owners, because that's who we typically work with. And the strategy is to work with using LinkedIn as a free marketing tool, because LinkedIn is the business owner's marketplace, very similar to the way Facebook is with Socially. LinkedIn is very similar in that respect where it connects businesses and business owners, and that's a great area for us. So just want to keep you posted, and today's day one, and I put forth the challenge to make about 20 contacts a day using LinkedIn, and also making sure that you stay current, posting things on LinkedIn, and take it for 5 days. So at the end of the 5 days, you should theoretically have about 100 contacts. And out of those 100 contacts, as they're coming in, as you're getting contacted by them to approve that you can reach out to them, I'm going to be calling them and contacting them. So today's day one, and I have to tell you, it is so easy to reach out. I thought it was going to take hours. It took me probably like 15 minutes to 20 minutes just to reach out to 20 people on LinkedIn. Now, on my first video, I did show you there is an opportunity to do that by the search feature, and that's exactly what I did. I keyed in exactly what it is I was looking for. I typed in business owners in title, because there's an option in job or in title in company. So you type in business owners and you'll see the selection in title. So that means in the title name, it's going to have business owner, and that's who we want because we want to target business owners. So essentially I popped that up, and the list, I don't even know how many people they have on that list because it was just page after page. So I just started from top to bottom, and I essentially just selected people in businesses. I didn't even really discriminate in terms of what type of business. I selected any business because our business satisfies any business. And I essentially clicked on it. Dialog box will pop up, and it'll state, you can leave a message for the person, or just, it says add a note, or just click here to send now. So I actually scripted something I think I shared with you on the first video. I said, I would like to add you to my network. I'm involved in business loans, and I would just like to connect with you. So I had that. That's my message. I clicked on it and sent it. So I actually did that from my phone. I did that on my phone while I was watching TV. Yes, you heard me. I was watching TV, did it all on my phone, and it was just something I was doing in between commercials. So it's very easy to do. I was even able to post something on LinkedIn. Basically, I posted something about business loans, and if you need business loans, come see me. I put my website information on there. So it was very easy to do. Now, here's the best thing about it. Some people immediately reached out to me. Now, they didn't ask for a business loan or anything like that, but they accepted my invitation. Now I'm connected with them on LinkedIn. And that is the goal in the first step. The first step, you want to make the connection. Just like lead generation. When you want that, the first goal is to have them click on the ad, fill out the form, and then you get the lead. So in this particular case, while these people may not be actively looking for a business loan at this moment, we will only know that when we reach out to them. So now we're cultivating these leads, and what I'm doing now is once they connected with me, I actually sent them a personal private email, which I also scripted, but a personal private email. And essentially what it said, I customize it specific to that person and their business. So let's say, hey, Josh, thank you for connecting with me on LinkedIn. I see that you own ABC Plumbing. That's fantastic. I wish you're doing well in your business. Just want to let you know at this time of year, many people reach out to me needing capital for the holidays or for the start of the new year. I just want to let you know that I could be that resource. Reach out to me if you need anything so I could let you know what you might qualify for. Chances are I'll be able to approve you. Thanks again for connecting with me on LinkedIn. I give them all my contact information. I emailed them. So I did that to every contact. Out of the 20 at the time that I made this video, I had about 7 people that immediately responded to me, and the rest are still pending, but I literally just did it maybe a little while ago. I'm still waiting for a few more to come in, but I would imagine before the close of business today, most of them, if not all 20 of them, should have responded at one point in time. Now keep in mind, these are business owners, so some of the business owners, even though you can't accept invitations on your phone, these people might be waiting till off hours So we notice a lot of activity in the evening hours or the early morning hours. So perhaps I should have did it earlier in the day. Maybe I'll try that strategy next time. I'll do it while I'm having breakfast watching TV. But in any case, it's a great way to do that. And I just started going through LinkedIn and really looking at the way it's set up. And if you haven't spent some time there, make sure you set up your profile, make sure you update it, but then also review other people's profiles to see what things they have in interests and so forth. Like some of the business owners, I started noticing that we share some nonprofits that we have an interest in together. So in some of those emails, I mentioned Make-A-Wish Foundation, or I mentioned other foundations that they're a part of, because again, you want to build the rapport. They don't know me personally, and I'm reaching out to them on a sensitive subject to help their business, but again, they don't know me from anybody. So this is kind of just reaching out to them, trying to connect that way. And you want to build it as personally as you can to build up that rapport. So you're building it up through email. They're eventually going to visit your website and at least your profile page on LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that's updated. You want to sound like the authority. When you're posting things on LinkedIn, you want to make sure you have the authority, put your contact information, your name. By repetition, people that have accepted your invitations, once you're connected with them, they'll be seeing your postings, and they'll start to understand that it's very valid what you're doing in terms of being able to help them and being that authority in that space of business loans. So they'll reach out to you eventually. Again, while you step out and reach out to them, you'll be increasing the likelihood of them contacting you by seeing your posting, by constantly touching base with them. Now keep in mind, this is day one. So like I said, I've had about 7. I probably had about maybe 7 or 8 by now, but I haven't checked in the last 20 minutes before I filmed this. But I anticipate at least having maybe 12, 15 by the end of the day, and maybe all 20 hopefully by later today. So we'll see. We'll see. And this is an experiment and a challenge that I put forth to myself and anyone else that's out there that wants to try this. Now, could I have selected 100 today and went ahead and did that? Absolutely. I probably would have more activity right now, and it would probably take all of maybe an hour or 2 to really select it all. But my reason for doing only 20 per day is because, again, you might not be able to do more than 20 a day. But 20, I feel, is a manageable number for anybody to do. So I just want to let you know how much time it took me. Maybe you did it faster. I read everybody's profile when I'm in it to select if I could connect with them. So I try to really scrutinize the selections, even though I just went down the line. But you could do it probably faster. And yeah, you probably could connect with 100 people or select 100 people to connect with. The reason I did in this space in terms of 20 to have you follow along with me, and then my strategy is to follow up with each of them as they connect with me. So like I said, I've had about 7 by now, so I had to send out and craft 7 customized emails to each one of those, and I also posted. I've posted twice today, and I don't even think that's a lot, but again, just doing some manageable numbers, because at the end of the week, when we have all 100 or as close to 100, my goal is to at least get an app. My goal is to at least close a deal if I could, but something of substance just to show you how easy it is to do free marketing, because it's available to you out there. And if this succeeds, maybe I'll try another avenue of free marketing just to put it out there to share with the group and to really support what Phil's doing. I know he had mentioned I was doing this on the conference call last week, for those of you who might have been on the conference call. So we'll see if it's something that we could proceed with. I'll try a different avenue, but let's first start here with LinkedIn and the LinkedIn challenge for 5 days. I hope those of you who are following appreciate this, and for those of you who are doing it on your own as well, I hope you're having just as good as luck as I'm having. So take care. Again, this is James, and I look forward to speaking with you in the next video.
All right, we figured we would do a demo call. A lot of one question out in the training, there are calls in the training that you can listen to from a call center. But I figured, we can hone in on specific questions. I think that the most questions that people have issues with. So I figured we just go through the process. Pretend we're doing a call here. So I guess we'll just start off. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Right. So basically, obviously, you start off. You say, hi, James. You filled out a form on our website looking for a business loan. Just wanted to call to see how I can help you out. Getting that loan for you. Obviously, something like that. Typically, then you go into the questions that you need. You can say something along the lines of, I actually only need to ask you, two questions to get started. The first one would be, how much revenue do you do per month? But really, you want to ask the last 3 months is important, right? So the average revenue over the last 3 months, that's really what you want to get out of them. And then, so when you ask, what's your revenue for the last 3 months, typically some people won't even know the answer.
They'll
but
typically say a range. They're like, I do about anywhere from 15 to 20,000 per month.
Right. So then what happens is now, so you just want to get that out of them. At least you want to be over 5. As long as over 5, you have some options. But then, after that, you want to ask, how long you've been in business. Typically, at least 3 months is good. So those are like the basic questions. Once you get there, if they say no, they do less than $5,000 a month of revenue, then you want to go into other direction, like maybe credit repair. If you have any affiliate, like we're going to start doing the consulting stuff, so you can try to push them into other directions. So credit repair is a good one. That's really the best one right off the bat. There's credit monitoring. There's a lot of other services that you can try to push someone into, or start building a relationship with them and put them in your email list and sell them stuff later. But for this, we'll pretend that the person has enough revenue. So we wrote down a list of questions. So James is going to ask the question specifically, and then we'll just come up with answers.
So one of the popular questions that's come up, and I'm sure you guys have dealt with it as well, is how long does it take to get the funds?
Right. So you want to basically, going through that process, you want to tell someone, typically it takes, at most a week. That's a very simple answer. Yeah, usually, 7 business days or a week or so, you can say. And when you start doing these calls, you want to obviously build a rapport with them. Obviously, when you first start, if someone is in New York, someone's in your local state or local to you, you can try to find some common ground there, sports, weather, whatever. If you're from the south and someone's from the north or reverse, it's a little more disconnect, obviously, but you can certainly try to find, like I have a decent amount of family around the country. I try to find a common ground there, or talk about, I've been to Texas, whatever. You talk about stuff. So those types of things you kind of want to do at first. But yeah, so for how long does it take to get funds? It's really about 7 days. I like to keep my questions very simple because, the answer is very simple. If you go into too much detail at first, it kind of opens up a whole can of worms sometimes, and maybe the point of these calls when you first start is just to see if the person is, number one, interested, and they have the ability to even get funding. Because if they can't get funding, you kind of want to keep it shorter and put them in a different direction. If they can't get funding, you kind of want to just go down that path of getting the application and bank statements and see what you need to do to get there. So for how to get funds, keep it, pretty much you can say max a week.
Okay. Another one that's a popular one, they often ask is, well, what's my interest rate going to be?
Yeah, that's going to be probably the number one question that someone's going to ask you. So what I would always say is, what interest rate are you looking for? Right? Keep it simple like that, and then they're going to come back with something really low, right?
Like 5%.
I don't want to pay any interest rate. Whatever the number is that they give you, let's just pretend it's 4%. So instead of saying, not in your wildest dreams, now listen, of course it's possible, right? Technically it is possible to do that, depending on the type of loan they get. Whether it's, listen, if the person's, worth $10 million and has an 850 credit score, you can maybe only get 4%. So the best way to answer that question is, that's possible. That's it. Oh, 4%? I've actually seen that done before. That's it. But I obviously don't know exactly until we run everything. That's why it's important to get your bank statements and application, and then once we get that, I'll tell you exactly what we can get. And the reason why you kind of want to be vague is this is what I learned when I first started doing this. I tried to be as honest up front and give everyone the answers that they wanted to hear. Then one time, and a lot of people kind of ran away, like, oh, I don't want to pay that. Oh, that's not enough money, whatever the case may be. Then one time I said, you know what? I'm just going to be vague. I just want to get the deal in front of them. What I learned was, I don't care if the person wanted $1 million or they wanted a 1% interest rate. Once you put that offer in front of them, they usually take it. Because even if it doesn't even touch, not even close to what they originally wanted, they usually take it because there's no one else is going to give them any money. All right? Just understand that. What's the next one?
Okay. Are you the funder?
So a lot of people, obviously, one of the questions that I get from people that are doing this business is, I don't feel comfortable, or not that I don't feel comfortable. I don't. What am I trying to say? Are you the funder? What people say is, I have a problem getting people to trust me, right? So this is one thing that you could do. Obviously, you're not the funder. So one thing that you want to say is, yes, I'm not a direct lender. Funder is probably the bad word that we use here. But you can say, listen, I'm not the direct lender. I work with multiple direct lenders. But one thing that you also want to say in this instance is say, listen, it doesn't cost you any more money for you to do the deal through me. A lot of people, when they hear that you're a middleman or a broker, they feel you're going to cost them more money. Oh, you got to make a profit too on top of this. How are you making money? So it's a good time to basically say, just so you know, even though I work with a lot of lenders, it doesn't matter which one you choose. It doesn't matter if you work with them directly or me. What's going to happen is I will it's not going to cost you any more money. And then you can say is, on top of that, you can say, I guarantee you I'll get you a better deal because I will make these lenders fight for you. If you work with a direct lender directly and you may not know where to go to get a better deal, well, then that's the only deal you're going to get. It may not be the best deal, but I can get you multiple deals, multiple offers, I should say. I'm going to get you multiple offers, and then from there, I can actually have them fight for you. So I will go to bat, and if you say, listen, I really need this to be a certain number, whatever that number, that payment is, I'll go to bat for you and say, hey, even if I don't have another offer for you, I'll just pretend I do just to try to get the best deal I can get. So you kind of want to go into that a little bit.
I think that's great advice because when you do that, number one, when you build in the rapport, now that builds trust. You're telling them that you're going to work on their behalf to get the lenders to give them the best deal for them. And that's something that they may not have the time to do or the resources to do, and now you're the expert doing that. So that's great advice. Another one that comes up, and sometimes this ties into this, is how long have you been doing this?
Okay. Now listen, you can easily just lie and just say, hey, I've been doing this for 5 years, right? It's totally up to you. I'm not going to tell you to do. You answer the question however you want. So I'll give you both options. You either just lie and say it's a big number, you've been doing this a long time, and call it a day. That's what I did when I first started. You have to. I'm just going to say that. You don't have to. It was just easier for me to answer the question. When you say you're new, it gets a little trickier. Depends on the person. Depends on now their relationship with you. Do they trust you? This, that, the other thing. But if you're going to go with the, hey, yeah, know what? I've only been doing this a few months. I overall have experience, in business or whatever. You can kind of come up with whatever answer you want. But at the end of the day, if you're going to say is, hey, yes, I've only been doing this a few months, a few weeks, a few days, whatever the case may be. But the great thing is I actually have, you can do two things. You can mention that, you're working with people that do have a ton of experience somehow. You can say, oh, yeah, no, but, basically I'm working with some other guys that, really know what they're doing, or girls that really know what they're doing. And, and even though I have been doing this a little time, but, I'm working with people that have a ton of experience in this industry. I'm just getting going. Some people are okay with that. Another way that you can answer that is say, yes, I've only been doing this a little while, but the good thing is I can actually put you in touch directly with the lender if you're interested. and kind of also backtrack into that whole, it doesn't matter whether you work with me at a lender, doesn't cost you any more money, etc. And then the person that you're working with at that direct lender, trust me, they have no problem in jumping on a phone with you with a potential client. So that's not an issue. And if that is an issue, then just work with a different lender.
Right.
But you really shouldn't have a problem with that. And you call up your contact and let them say, hey, can you get on the phone with James here and help me close them? They'll do that for you. So that's really going to help, and that's might actually be better by saying, hey, I haven't been doing this a long time, but hey, let me get you on the phone with them if you don't feel comfortable talking to me. I understand, right? The problem, there's only so much information I can give you. I can give you some ideas, but everything comes down to that phone call, that question, that person, your relationship with them, right? I mean, that's what you really have to understand, and this is just straight. I'm not going to call it sales because you're not really trying to sell the guy or the company owner. You're not really trying to sell them. You just really want to give them information and get them to trust you because they really are giving you sensitive information at the end of the day. So when you get to that point, it's all about just building that trust. However, you're going to do that.
One of the things I might, if I could jump in, warn anyone about, if you do take the approach that you just want to lie and say, I've been doing this a long time, you want to just make sure that you are speaking like the expert that you are if you tell somebody you've been doing this a long time. Because if you say that and then you get hung up on certain questions that you may not be able to do, then all of a sudden the trust is going to go out the window because they're not going to believe you. But like Phil said, you can always leverage the lender, get them on the phone. Sometimes, and again, like Phil says, it depends on the rapport that you've built up with this person that you're speaking to. Because sometimes if they ask, well, how long have you been doing it? And if you throw in, I just got started. There are people out there that want to work with people that just got started to help you out, just like you're going to help them get the loan. So they kind of side with you because most people can remember a time when they first started at a new job or just started something new and they're getting going and things like that. But you always want to make sure that you let them know, like Phil said, that it doesn't cost them more to work with you. Even if you just started in this business, you want to also leverage the experience of the people that you're working with. So you want to do things like that just to be able to build that trust and get them to work with you.
Actually, going off that real quick, you can basically say, I'm new at this, but I'm hungry.
Yeah,
I'm going to do whatever I can to make this work. Going back to, go watch the movie Boiler Room.
There you go.
All right? That is such a great movie for the sales side of things. Obviously, totally different industry, totally different everything. But there's parts of that when the sales side, when he said, I will do whatever it takes to make sure that this works for you. I will bring you everything you need to make money in this investment, blah, 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 whatever the exact words were. But that stuff is really good stuff, and that's what you can use. And listen, I'm really hungry. I'm going to bat for you. No one else is going to get you this deal, the best deal that you can get, or I'm going to give you the best deal you can ever get because I'll make it work. I'm hungry. I'm new. I'm making this happen. Right, so you can take that attitude with it. So it's totally up to you and your personality and how you're gonna, figure this out and answer these questions. So.
Yeah, it's definitely a great movie to watch. Boiler Room. Next steps. They often ask, what are my next steps?
What are your next steps? So the next steps, typically, if someone asks that question, what you basically just want to say is, all right, the next steps are going to be, I'm going to email you an application. If you're using e-sign software, which is highly recommended to use e-sign software, I use Adobe Sign. There's a video in the training that walks you through on how to set up the application in your Adobe Sign account. And then what happens is now you're going to take that and you're going to tell them, hey, I'm going to send you a document via e-sign. You can tell them it's secure. It's all through Adobe Sign. You're just going to fill it out online. You can e-sign it online. Makes it very simple. And it really does, the turnaround time's a lot quicker. And then you say the next step is also I need the last 3 months bank statements. And you can tell them, go to your website, download the file. Make sure you say this, download the files off your website and email them to me. When people fax you this stuff, it doesn't always come through right. It gets screwed up. It's just a pain. So just really try to get them to download the files, the last 3 months statements, and then send them to you by email.
Great.
I'm sorry, the next step. So that's the initial next steps, right? That's one. And then if they go further, okay, well, what happens after that? So here's the whole process, right? So you got I'm going to send you application and bank statements. Once you get that back to me, I'm going to take that and I'm going to give it to a lender. If a lender actually approves you, I'm going to turn around, usually within 24 hours. I'm going to give you the approval. I'm going to give you the offer. You say yes to that offer, then I'm going to go back to the lender. They're going to give me more documents for you to sign. I'm going to give them to you. You're going to sign them. Then you give me back those documents after you sign them. I'm going to give them back to the lender. After that, you have one interview with the underwriter. The underwriter is really the guy who makes a decision. You have one interview, phone interview with the underwriter. The underwriter is then going to confirm everything for fraud, lying, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure everything's legit. Now, just so you know, the underwriter typically is going to log into the guy's bank account. You may not want to mention that right up front. Just let the underwriter deal with it. That's what their job is. And you don't really have to mention that. You can just say, they just going to interview you, make sure everything's legitimate and what you say, and then after that, once you get approval, they have the money 24 hours after that, and then you usually get paid 24 hours after that. So that's the whole process. And you can give them whatever information you want.
Perfect. And they asked about the repayment. How is this paid back?
So a lot of people may already know about merchant cash advance, so they have some history, and they say, "Oh, well, what's the payment process, or how do I repay this?" People are gonna say, "Is this a daily payment? Is it a monthly? Whatever." Typically, what I always did was kind of like back to the interest rate is, well, what are you looking for? Mm-hmm. If they specifically say, "Oh, is this a daily payment payback?" You can say, well. Say I work with multiple lenders. There are lenders I work with that do that, and there's lenders I work with that don't do that and do monthly. They may start to ask, "Oh, can I pay this back over 2 years or 5 years or 7 years?" And again, these are things you're gonna have to figure out while you're on the phone with them and say, "Is this really worth my time? Is this guy really out there? Like he's like, there's no way I'm doing a daily payment. This has to be a 5-year loan, or leave me alone." You might just want to walk away from that, because you don't want to put a lot of time into a deal and go through this whole process. It's never going to work out in the end. So you got to start kind of filtering these leads out for yourself, these deals out for yourself, and say, all right, can I really get this guy something that's worth my time and effort to do it? Obviously, when you're new, I say do everything, because then you're just going to learn from it. So when the guy says, "Oh, I can get a 5-year deal," technically you can. Technically, it's possible. Work with different lenders. There may be a possibility to do a term loan. Right? It's possible. So that's why I say, whatever their question is, whatever they say, I say, sure, that's possible. I've done that before. And just leave it at that. And then the guy can make the decision if they want to move forward.
Does credit score matter?
So that's another thing. Now, credit score technically doesn't matter when it comes to merchant cash advance. If someone's a criminal, if they've been a felon, if they just went through bankruptcy, it's not guaranteed every time that just because someone had a bankruptcy, they're not going to get approved, or someone has a criminal background, not going to approve. It's not a guarantee. So again, you go down the road and say, you know what, your credit score doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's just based on the business. So you can say credit score doesn't matter. It's based on your business revenue. Okay. If someone really does not want merchant cash advance and they want a term loan, then yeah, their credit's going to matter more in that situation. So again, it's going to depend on you if you want to go through the process and see if you can get him anything. Or you may want to do merchant cash advance, give him the offer anyway, and just see if he takes it. So what was the question?
Does credit score matter?
Yeah, so that's that's it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter.
The other question that's a popular one is, how much can I get? How much can I qualify for?
Okay. So kind of going back to the interest rate question, right? You can be vague. All right, how much can I qualify for? Well, I really don't know until we run everything, blah 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 blah. If they specifically say I need $50,000, now let's just say the guy does $20,000 a month of revenue, and that's true as his last 6-month average, whatever. Realistically, in merchant cash advance, you're not going to get somebody more than their monthly revenue. That's you can use that as your benchmark. So if someone comes to you and says, "I want 50. I need 50,000. I've been in that position before. And again, I'm vague, and I say, well, it's possible I can get you 50,000. I've done it before on a $20,000 company, $20,000 in revenue per month company. Again, that's the way that you would do that is by getting them multiple loans, right? So you can get what's called stacking. You do one loan with one company and then another loan with another company. Technically, you can do that. A lot of companies focus on that. They do stack deals. Some companies are really against that and say, oh, if you do a deal with me, you better not go get another one. These are things that you'll start to learn. But you can be very vague, because here's what's going to happen most of the time. The guy wants 50. You offer him 15. He takes it anyway, right? Because he still needs the money. He may need more, but that's good. Like, oh, cool, man, I got 15. I can use that for this. And, he can grow his business and eventually get his 50. Is there any more questions?
No.
All right. So one other thing I'll mention. I just remember this one story with this one business owner, a woman who owned a clothing store, and it's another thing that you can say to people if you feel they're on the fence. So I forget the exact numbers, but let's just pretend she, wanted 20. Let's say it was 20 grand. She was approved for 20 grand, and she needed 20 grand. She said, oh, the interest rate is, huge. And I said to her, I'm like, well, can you get money anywhere else? She's like, no. What are you using the money for? Inventory. How much are you going to make off the inventory? Is it more than the payback? Let's just pretend the payback, I forget the exact numbers, but let's just pretend the interest rate, right, was 5 grand on 20 grand, let's just say. And she turned around and said, well, I'll make 8. I'm like, all right, so you're going to make 3,000. So if you're going to make a $3,000 profit, yeah, you're paying more in the interest rate than you really want to, but you're still going to make a $3,000 profit. Can you get the money anywhere else, right? No, I can't. So what are you going to do if you don't take this? Mm-hmm. Nothing. Doesn't make any sense. So she was not going to take it. I had to explain that to her and make her see that. One thing you have to understand, the number one reason why small businesses fail is typically because of lack of management skills. A lot of people don't look at things in certain ways. So you have to be the person that's going to guide them. Again, kind of like sales, but it's really just giving them the right information, giving them the right tools to make that decision. So when I spoke to that lady, and I in my mind, I was like, it's a no-brainer. Like, why would you? If she told me she's going to make $1,000, yeah, okay, makes sense. But I had it. The fact that for me, because that was the first time I ever had a conversation like that with a business owner, and for me, I was just I was so taken back. I'm like, why do I even have to ask you these questions? How do you not see this already? You're the owner of this company. How do you not put this together? Why are you calling me, telling me you don't want it, when you would say, all right, I'm going to make how can you not figure out that you're going to make $3,000 profit and you have nothing else to do and you need this inventory? Why would you not jump on this? It doesn't make any sense that I even have to explain this to you. But that's what you have to start to learn, that not all business owners really know how to run their own business. Oh, shouldn't say it that way. A lot of business owners don't know how to look at things a certain way. Right. Especially when it comes to finances. Just because someone's a business owner doesn't mean they're good at everything. Yeah. Doesn't mean that they're an accountant or a finance manager and they know everything about everything. They may there's some guys that we talked about that do blue collar work, and maybe they're a plumber or a construction company. Well, I gotta tell you, there's some people out there that really they have a business or whatever, be like, how the heck did that person get this far? Right? It's just kind of funny, some people out there. But anyway. So you have to think about that, and you may have to guide them. So once you gain all this knowledge and understand this stuff, and then you can kind of point everyone in the right direction. So that's anything you want to ask? You obviously done this stuff.
No, I think that's been really helpful. I think hearing it from you, how you've handled it in the past, and the thing is that Phil says, you got to also, he could give you the advice on how to say it, and we have the script in the training, we have the call center phone calls there, and you can hear how other people have done it. At the end of the day, you're going to have to use what works for you. You're going to have to throw your personality in there. I know I do a lot of talking to build the rapport with the person. I try to throw a joke in there. But one of the things that you mentioned is the common ground. I try to establish that pretty early on. And you have to also understand, know when you call the person, the timing might be fine for you, but you don't know what on the other end they're dealing with. And they're a business owner, so they might be in the middle of something. So kind of pick up on the clues or the cues that they're doing with you. If they're short with you and abrupt, maybe the timing isn't right. So while you want to get the information, you want to also be sensitive to the fact that when you're calling them, you're not sure that it's the right time. So you just have to be sensitive to that. You want to help them and you want to get the deal, but you also want to make sure that you're not kind of leveraging, just pushing it and forcing it on them. So those are the things that hopefully you guys have started to experience, and hopefully this video just helps kind of fill in the gaps if you have certain issues that you don't know how to handle. Of course, you could always put a question on the Facebook group, and people in the community will answer the question. Phil's very active on that as well. So this was hopefully a good video for you guys to just kind of see how to handle certain questions that commonly come up.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing I'll say is just be consistent follow-up, right? Because if it's a fresh lead, most likely he might be talking to other companies or other brokers or whatever, right? So you want to be consistent to follow up and just get what you can out of them. Use SMS, use text messaging, use email marketing, use everything, right? Best times to call people I'll throw in that I've seen, or best times to email people I've seen is early morning. Best time to call is probably early. Well, for me, I like the nighttime because the early morning, I just don't like early morning. But just remember time zone differences. Right. But either early morning or later at night, because in the middle of the day just does not work very well. So plan that out. Weekends are great. I mean, you call people on Sundays, typically you're good. They have time to speak. Really good on Sundays. The other thing is you can use a schedule. I use something called Calendly. It's basically scheduling phone calls. So just Google software is like that. And you can basically put in your email. So you can send out an email to everyone and say, hey, schedule a call with me to discuss how I can help you get the funding for your business, blah, blah, blah. Makes it really easy. Now they can just schedule it whenever they want. You get their phone number, they call you. You call them at that time. Stuff like that. So just be consistent, because just because someone isn't interested today doesn't mean they're not interested in a month or two. That's why the email follow-up and stuff over time, building your brand with them over time so they consistently see you, build up your own social media, etc. Just building your brand. That's all good stuff as part of, I know we're talking about specifically about a phone call here and a script and whatever, and the answer is, but realistically, it's more to it in terms of just the overall sales process, to, just getting these deals done and making these people trust you, because the longer you're around, the more they're going to trust you. And it could be 6 months down the road. That's why you just got to keep building and just don't quit, right? Because eventually you're going to get deals done and it's just going to snowball and it's just going to get bigger. So we'll leave it at that. You good?
Great.
All right.
James here on day number 2 of the LinkedIn challenge. I hope you're following along. I'm excited because just so you know, this is something that I really wanted to do, to share how you can achieve free marketing using LinkedIn, which is really where business owners go to connect. So I'm hoping you're following along at the very least, or participating on your own to help your business succeed with that. So this is day number 2, and I just want to summarize for anybody who hasn't seen the other videos what we're doing here. So essentially what we're doing is we are using LinkedIn to connect with people over a 5-day period. We're connecting with at least 20 people per day. So at the end of 5 days, we will have at least 100, theoretically 100 connections. And out of that 100, we're hoping to get a deal or two, at least become real relevant with the people in that arena to let them know what we do. This is completely free. You don't have to have any paid marketing for this, and that's the whole purpose of this challenge. It takes very little time and very little effort. So on day 1, I just want to summarize, at the time that I posted that video, I had, I believe it was 7 people that actually connected with me. That's just, they accepted my invitation to connect, nothing more than that. I did tell you of those 7, and anybody that responded, I sent a customized email, dear so-and-so, and I scripted it, just kind of pertaining to their business. It took a little more time to do that, but I have kind of a boilerplate email that I do, and then I just swap in their name and etc. So out of them, the 7, I had 1 person that just kind of said thank you. So that's cool. At least he acknowledged that I have, he received my email. And that's okay, because we're going to use that information and continually email him just to build our presence with him so he knows what we do. So just to update you, because last night happened And it seems that most business owners do things on off hours. I know myself personally, I like to do a lot of things off hours that you can't get to during the day. It just optimizes my day to contact business owners, to follow up with the lenders and so forth. And I would advise you guys to do it as well. So from yesterday, we had 7 people during the day, during the business day, that connected with me. But then last night, they just started coming in. I got a total more of 10. So now I have 17 from day one that connected with me. So all those 17 I sent out emails to. And then this morning when I woke up and went to the gym, I went to the gym early today. So I actually, while I was at the gym, I had my phone and I connected again on LinkedIn. And I encourage you to do that as well. I sent out my 20 again. And at the time that I recorded this video, I already had 12 people connecting with me already. So it's been great. If you add yesterday and today, that's a total of 32. So not bad. In 2 days work, probably maybe 20 minutes of time, maybe a half hour if you have to round up, to connect with 32 business owners. Now remember, this is an environment for business owners, so we want to make sure that we're connecting with them, letting them know what we do. I also posted 2 more posts on LinkedIn. Again, you want to increase your relevance with that so that they can connect with you and then they'll see you and then you'll pop up in their feed and so forth. So I'm expecting, I did have in some of the emails I set up, they did request some scheduled calls. So I have a couple of calls scheduled later today, and I'm hoping from that, typically, as you guys know, from that call, when they show that interest, you're probably going to get an app out or 2. So we're hoping that that happens, and I'll be able to disclose that to you tomorrow. So I have to make some calls later today, and at that point, hopefully my goal would be to have a few apps out at the very least. I'm really pushing this to be more ambitious because I really want this to succeed. One of the things that did happen that I haven't mentioned during this time frame is that what happens when you're connecting with people, they refer you business. So I actually had somebody that wasn't somebody that I personally looked up, as I showed you using the keywords and searching, but I had somebody that I reached out to who sent somebody to me as a referral. So that is something that happens on LinkedIn. And I haven't told you guys about that because, again, I want to stick to the challenge. But what happens is typically people in a circle of influence or a network, when they see that somebody of their friends or their colleagues or another business owner that they know can work with you or can use your services, they have no problem referring them to you once you're in their circle of influence or in their network. So that's happened to me before, but it actually happened yesterday with this challenge. So that's something that I want to share with you that I wasn't going to tell you about because it does happen, but I wasn't going to tell you about to keep it to the challenge. But that's one of those X factors that we don't know is going to happen, and it coincidentally has happened already. So that's just a little point of information. So this is day 2. Let's stay tuned for more videos. I look forward to hearing and sharing more of your success as I disclose my success with you. And hopefully this has been helpful, and continue working it. And this is free marketing. So this is James, and stay tuned for day 3 tomorrow.